Today's lesson, we want to talk about fraction operations. The first example we wanted to see if we can reduce to the lowest term. So if we have 15 over 35, we need to understand basically what we have is 3 times 5 to become 15 and 5 times 7 on denominator to make it 35. So as you can see, common factor, common multiplications on the numerator 5 and denominator 5 can cancel out each other, and it will give you 3 over 7 remains. So this is one way of reducing it. This is one way of writing down. If we have 15 over 35, we can also do, this is what we usually do once we get used to reducing. 5 goes into 15, 3 times 5 goes into 35, 7 times, which is going to give you 3 over 7. So either way will be okay. Only reason that I'm writing it this way is to show you what's in it. What am I getting rid of as a common between numerator and denominator? But this method is also perfectly fine. So if you're looking at the second one, I see 1 negative. So I wanted to make sure this is going to be equals to negative solutions, right? And then we start reducing. Look like the common will be 4. So I will say 4 goes into 12. 3 times 4 goes into 56, 14 times. So your solution will be 14 over 3, which is negative. This one right here, because you have a 2 negative, your solution will be positive. And 24, 32, you have 8 common. So you should be able to reduce 8. So you will say 8 goes into 24 3 times. 8 goes into 32 4 times, which you have 3 over 4 remained for that problems. What about this one? This one you have 4. 28, 12. 4 is common. So 4 goes into 28 7 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times. Don't forget you have 1 negative. So your solution will be negative 7 over 3. Right? If you don't see the commons, then you can reduce little by little, right? For example, if you have negative 56 over 12 and you didn't see 4 commons, then you can use 2 because this being even number, you can always start with 2 and we'll say 2 goes into 5. 2 times 16, so it will be 8, 28. 2 goes into 12. 6 times, this being 2 even numbers, so 2 will fit in, 14, 2 goes into 3. So you can do 1 at a time if you don't see the common, the larger common, greatest common. What about multiplications? Multiplications, the only thing that you wanted to remember that you wanted to reduce before you multiply, because if you multiply first, your number will be large and it's hard to, or more difficult to reduce bigger number. So reduce first, then multiply. So when you see this first example, look like 4 goes into 8 2 times. 15 and 9 look like you have 3 commons. I don't see any other common. So numerator, you're going to be basically multiplying 2 times 3. Denominator 5 times 1. Right? It's easier to find your simplest form of the solution if you reduce first. So this one, let's try that again. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times. And don't forget, your solution will be negative because I only see one negative, right? And then you see 5 goes into 25 5 times. That will be 5 goes into 15 3 times. Numerator, you have 3 times 3, which is 9. Denominator, 5 times 2, 10. Right? What about this one? Your solution will be positive, right? And then start reducing once you know the sign, right? Let's see, anything else? No. So then numerator multiplying 5 times 3. Denominator 4 times 1. If your problem is not mentioning any form of your final solutions, then you can leave it as this way. But if they said that you need to write it into mixed number, then you do 15 divide by 4. Numerator divide by denominator. 4 goes into 15. 12. 3 times 12, which is remainder of 3. So that's going to become 3 over 4. So you can write it as mixed number or improper fractions. This one is not mentioning what form of the solution, so improper fractions will be okay. But if they ask for mixed number, that should be your solutions. So when we're looking at divisions, you need to make sure divisions, we wanted to add one more step in front. So we wanted to change to multiplications and then follow the other 3 examples we just did. So in order to change divisions into multiplications, don't forget to flip the second fractions. That's all you need to do to change to division into multiplication. So first fraction will stay same. Change division into multiplications and flip the second fractions. Once you change the multiplications, repeat, reduce, and then multiply. So it'll be 4 over 3. This one, let's try one more times. You see 2 negatives, so your solution will be positive. Once you decide your solutions, then you just need to change this into multiplications without any sign. Because I already know my solution will be positive, right? Let's see, 5 goes into 25 5 times. Look like 8 goes into 24 3 times. It will be 3 times 5, 15, 1 times 1. And when your denominator is 1, it's same thing as just the whole number without fraction forms, right? So your solution will be 15 on that problem. Okay, now let's look at addition, subtractions. Fraction, addition, subtraction is a little more work than the multiplications because fraction, in order to add, you have to have same denominator. So we need to find the same denominator and then make it equivalent fractions and then add or subtract. That's what I'm going to show you. So first thing I need to do is finding least common denominator of 5 and 4. So let me write least common denominator of 5 and 4. If number is right next to each other, usually multiplying. So that's going to be 20. So what I'm going to do is making a common denominator of 20 because you need to have same denominator to add or subtract fractions. So 1 over 5 to become something over 20, whatever the change that you had on denominator, you need to do the same thing on the numerator. So 5 to become 20, you need to multiply by 4. So you will multiply 1 by 4. 4 to become 20, you need to multiply by 5. So you're going to multiply numerator by 5. Then you're going to end up getting 1 times 4, 3 times 5, 15. So this is how you're going to make equivalent fractions. So 1 over 5 is equivalent to 4 over 20. Once you have a same denominator, just add the numerator. So that gives you 19 over 20. Let's try another one with subtractions. You wanted to make same denominator first. Least common denominator of 9 and 2. There is no commons, so this is going to give you 18. So then it should be 18 on both fractions. 9 to become 18, you're going to multiply by 2. So you're going to multiply 7 by 2. For the same reason, this numerator needs to be multiplied by 9. So you end up getting 14 and 9. When you combine 14 minus 9, you get 5 over 18. What about this one? This denominator value is a little larger. So same thing, we wanted to find least common denominator of 12 and 32 this time. So I will see what's common between these two numbers by factor tree, right? So 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. So you could say 12 is 2 squared times 3. 32 is 2 times 16. 16 is 4 times 4. We know that 4 times 4, 4 have 2 and 2, right? So it looked like 32 is 2 to the 5th exponents. And finding least common denominator of these two, use all the factor. And if you have a same factor, then use the one with the higher exponents. So out of 2, you have 2 square and 2 to the 5th. You're going to use 2 to the 5th. And then you have 3. No 3. So 3 is bigger, right? So basically 32 times 3 gives you 96. So that's your least common denominator of 12 and 32. So I'm going to use 96 plus 96. 12 to become 96. What are you multiplying? 8. So then multiply 5 times 8 gives you 40. 32 to become 96, you're multiplying by 2. So multiply 2 will be 2. Add it, you get 40. 3, I guess, 3. So you're multiplying 3. Let me write that down. So 3, multiplying by 3, multiplying by 8. So you get 43 over 96. Okay, let me do that one more time and show you how to find the least common denominator with this two number again. So I will do 18 and 32 factor tree. This is 2 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. So 18 is same as 2 times 3 square. And 30 is 3 times 10. That's 2 times 5. 30 is 2 times 3 times 5. Least common denominator of these two numbers, use all the factors. So I'm going to use 2, 3, 5. But then if you have a same number, then you wanted to use one with the higher exponents. I have 1, 1. Because it's the same exponent, which is 1, I will use just any of those two. Right? I can use this one or that one because it's the same. What about 3? 3 square, 3. Square is larger exponents, so that's the one I'm going to use. Having a 5, no 5, you will use the having a 5 because that's bigger, right? So basically you're multiplying 2 times 9 times 5. So that will be 90. So least common denominator will be 90. 18 to become 90. What are we multiplying? Let's see. It was 5, right? So you multiply 5. 30 to become 90, you multiply by 3, right? So this first numerator will be 35. Second numerator will be 33. Now we do 35 minus 33 will be 2 over 90. And both even numbers, so it looks like you can reduce it. It will be 1 over. 2 goes into 9. 4 times 10, 45. Let's try 2 more problems. This time, you're going to have more than 2 fractions. So this one right here, we wanted to make same denominator. And we know 2 and 3. Least common denominator of 2 and 3 will be 6. So we wanted to make everything having a denominator 6. Even 1, right? 2 to become 6, you're going to multiply by 3. So you're going to multiply 3. That gives you 3. 3 to become 6, multiply by 2. So that will be 2. 1 over 1, we know that's 1 over 1. And this 1 becomes 6. I mean, numerator should become 6 also, right? Same denominator, add the numerator. So it will be 5 plus 6 is 11 over 6. If I wanted to write this into mixed number, it will be 11 divided by 6. So 1 whole, remainder of 5 over 6. What about this one? Doing subtraction and addition at the same time. I guess we wanted to find least common denominator first. So 14, 4, and 10. 14 2 times 7. 4 is 2 square, right? 10 is 2 times 5. So your least common denominator, I'm going to use 2, 5, and 7. All the factor. But if you're using it more than 1 times, use the one with the higher number, higher exponents. So I have 2, 2, 2. And this 2 is higher exponent, x squared. So I'm going to use that. It will be, I need to write it, 2 squared, right? So that means 4 times 5 times 7. That will be 140. So your LCD is 140. And then when you multiply, I'm going to figure it out what to multiply first. Look like 14 to become 140, multiply by 10. 4 to become 140, you're going to multiply 35. 10 to become 14, you need to multiply by 14. 10 to become 140, you're going to multiply 14, right? So then you will get 50, 105, 126. So you're going to do subtractions. 50 minus 105. That become, whatever that number is, you add them up, 126, right? You get 71 over 140. So you could do 50 subtract 105 and then add 126, or you can combine all the positive number first. Gives you 176, and then subtract the negative number. That gives you 71. So either way will be okay. I hope this is enough exercise to remembering how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and simplifying fractions.